The next big thing in the decoration industry isn't quite direct-to-film, and it isn't quite sublimation. This is the Versaflex hybrid decorating system by Sawgrass. Versaflex is a versatile solution for makers and entrepreneurs who need a printer that's as flexible and hardworking as they are. Versaflex is an incredible asset for businesses that want to offer as many products as possible to their customers. The Versaflex system allows you to print on cotton garments, uncoated hard surfaces, and traditional blank sublimation substrates, all while maintaining rich colors and being soft to the touch. With a computer and quality heat press capable of high pressure, you have everything you need to bring Versaflex into your arsenal. For garment decoration, Versaflex breaks from sublimation in a big way. Say hello to 100% cotton and say goodbye to material limitations. Using Versaflex light media, you could print on natural and synthetic fabrics. When using light-colored garments, it's as easy and simple as print, press, peel, and reveal. And it's not just t-shirts. Denim jackets, foam trucker hats, sweatshirts, and countless other garments can now be added to your repertoire thanks to Versaflex. Have you ever seen a really nice blank item and thought, man, I wish that was made for sublimation? Well, the wishing ends here with Versaflex. With the same Versaflex light media that's used for garments, you can print on uncoated hard surfaces. This opens up a whole new world of options for your business like wood, metal, ceramic, and more. As long as your hard substrate is light colored and can hold up to the required temperature, you're good to go. It wouldn't be a Sawgrass printer without sublimation. Versaflex ink is 100% compatible with any and all traditional sublimation applications. Simply swap out your Versaflex light media for your sublimation paper of choice, like TexPrint DT Light or Heat Press Nation's 125-gram paper, and then print as you would for any other sublimation project. With Versaflex, you're able to get rich, vibrant, high-resolution images on all of your favorite substrates like ceramic coffee mugs, metal photo panels, FRP keychains, and literally thousands of other products. Sawgrass VersiFlex is powered by Sawgrass Print Utility, a simple yet powerful grip program that's included for free with all Sawgrass printers. Print Utility makes importing your images and setting up print jobs an absolute breeze. You can resize, rotate, make multiple copies of your graphic, and even make color adjustments to fine-tune the finished product to your exact liking. Anyone can start a business with Versaflex, even those with little to no previous graphic design experience. My Sawgrass Designer is a free online design program exclusively for Sawgrass users. Enjoy free graphic design elements like backgrounds, fonts, images, and even pre-made designs. Now you could also upgrade to My Sawgrass Plus to unlock thousands of additional elements that are designed by professionals around the world. Versaflex is backed by Sawgrass's 2-year printer warranty. And when you purchase your Versaflex hybrid decorating system from Heat Press Nation, you also get our free lifetime My Expert technical support. So for as long as you own your machine, you can count on HPN's legendary support in your corner. In addition to Sawgrass products, we have a huge selection of heat transfer equipment, materials, and supplies. Order your Versaflex hybrid decorating system today at heatpressnation.com. What is up, everybody? Oh wait, was I early? There we go. What is up, everybody? Thank you guys so much for joining us for a very special edition of Heat Press Nation Live. We are live. I'm right here. I know it looks like I'm in the exact same room and setting, but I have a different t-shirt on. So that's how you know this is different. All right, I'm actually here. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now on YouTube. We got Roberta, Rufino, Brooke, Cherry. We got people coming in. Let's see, Roberta from Maryland. Oh, very cool. Hello from Ohio. Nice, nice. I drove through Ohio earlier. Yeah, anyways, it's great. Anyways, what's up, everybody? So today we are talking about the brand new, and you just saw it, but I have to say it because it's exciting, the brand new Sawgrass VersiFlex hybrid decorating system. This is absolutely incredible. Nothing else like it in its I guess in the game, in its price range, in its field, in that section of the market. Nothing can do the things this can do. Actually, I should say nothing can really do the things this can do this good, this way. So it's very, very cool. So let me explain to you really quick what it is. So Sawgrass VersiFlex. This is a brand new ink system and media. So it's the inks and the paper or the media that were developed to run on the Sawgrass SG500 and SG1000 platforms. So it's a new ink system. So unfortunately, you're not able to convert previous printers. While they run on the same platform, you do want to use these inks on a brand new machine. I'll explain why in a little bit. But basically, it's a very special, one-of-a-kind ink system that allows you to do regular sublimation, of course, but this is so much more than sublimation. You could do any sublimation substrate that you've used in the past. You can continue to use it. 100% sublimation. You can do uncoated hard surfaces, like you see this picture frame here. You see this wood oval. It's like a piece of craft wood is what it is. You see those there. These are uncoated pieces of wood. In fact, we just went to our local hobby store, picked this up for like, I think $2-3. This was like 99 cents. And we were able to fully customize it with Versaflex. Not only that, 100% cotton, and it's not just whites. You see here we have this t-shirt, beautiful graphic, white t-shirt, same graphic, a little bit smaller, but same graphic on this peach t-shirt. It's not pink, it's peach, all right? Yeah, so we see the exact same graphic, and we're getting amazing colors. So on all your white and light colored products, Sawgrass likes to say whites, brights, and lights. You could do them. All right, 100% cotton. And not only is it just 100% cotton, this is a self-weeding transfer, meaning you don't have to pass it through your vinyl cutter. You don't have to trim anything off. You don't have to cut anything. You just print it, press it, peel it, reveal your beautiful, beautiful t-shirt. I'm gonna be doing some live demos in a few moments. Let's see what kind of questions we got. Oh, we got everybody chiming in. There we go. We got hello from Ohio. Dorothy's coming in from the OC. Oh, what's up? We're in the OC right now. Very cool. Seventh Gear is asking, how is Versaflex different than white toner? That is a great, great question. I think the main difference is going to be the price. So this is a tabloid size printer. This is the SG1000. This prints up to 11 by 17 in this expandable paper tray. And we don't have it here on me right now, but there's a bypass tray which allows you to print up to 13 by 19 inches. Versaflex media is available in standard letter, which is 8.5 by 11, tabloid, which is 11 by 17 inches, and Super B, which is 13 by 19 inches. Those are ready to go. You can actually order those different paper sizes on our website right now. I don't have the exact pricing off the top of my head, but I want to say that this SG1000 is coming in at just a little over, with the Versaflex system and some transfer media, like that starter package is coming in just a little bit over $2K. Now, to get an equal size print, in fact, to get a 13 by 19, let's just say 13 by 19, you have to actually go all the way up to the, I want to say it's the Creo 95 series, 9000 series, which is like a $12,000 or $13,000 printer. Forgive me if I'm approximating numbers. I don't know all the exact prices off the top of my head. Or to go tabloid, of course, the Creo 8432. I forget the number. The Creo, we'll call it the 8000, and then the Unit Eye Color 650. Those are both going to be running you somewhere in the range of like $5,000 to $6,000, or really closer to $7,000. But we'll say between 5 and 7. So coming in at less than half the price is a really big deal for us. Very excited, and that's why I say in this price range, it's the only thing that can, nothing can touch it. Referring now white toner, I know with the Unit Eye Color, you are able to swap out for sublimation toners on the 560, I want to say, which is a smaller printer. You're not going to get these big print sizes. But you could also do hard surfaces with different transfer media. Again, not in this size. Being able to do this, it's different. It's definitely different. We love white toner. I personally love Creo. I love Uninet. But this is different. It's just different, and that kind of brings me to the company line here that we always say is that we don't believe that there's one right product for everybody, just what's going to be right for you. So in this live stream, I'm going to be taking all the questions, answering them as best as I can, showing off some of the different things that this can do. And if the products that you see or the process that you see lines up with your business in a way that other things don't, that's how you know it's right for you. Some people watching this might say, well, I like to do this, fine, go ahead and stick with that. Here at Heat Press Station, we're not trying to force everybody into one, funnel. That's why we carry so many different print methods and products to really serve all of our customers. But that's a great question on how it compares to other print processes. Let's see. I did mention I had a question coming in about price. The SG1000 kind of starter bundle is coming in just a little over $2K. The SG500, which prints up to 8.5 by 11 or 8.5 by 14, the smaller printer, that one's coming in under $1,000. I want to say it's somewhere in the $900 range. And again, I've been testing this product for months now at this point. A lot of information up here, and unfortunately the pricing information didn't make it to the front of my brain, but these are all available. You go to heatpressnation.com today. You'll be able to place your orders. You can see all the pricing and everything like that. And one of my colleagues should be commenting with prices pretty soon. Great question coming in from Cherry Fisher. She's asking, can you print on dark shirts? So not with the light media. So we use a product called Versaflex Light Media, which is what allows us to print weedless transfers. Again, no cutting or anything like that. We're able to print those transfers on our light colored garments and our uncoated hard surfaces. It's light media, so it works for light products. If you want to customize dark cotton, let's say, with this printer, then you could purchase, products that are already available, something like Caesar Easy Subli or Forever Subflex 202, because this is still a sublimation printer. It's more than a sublimation printer, but the inks, it's Sawgrass, so it's still sublimation in there. Sublimation's in the DNA. And so it is compatible with print and cut sublimation media, again, like Caesar Easy Subli or Forever Subflex 202 for application onto dark cotton. Great question coming in from Dorothy. She's saying, this printer is weird. It does not come with black ink. How does it print a true black? That is a great question. So this printer uses what we call a process black, similar to white toner. If you look at any of the, I would say most of the white toner printers, until you get to like the 13,000, the really expensive ones, white toner printers all use a process black. White toner printers use CMYW. In this case, we're using CMYE. So E stands for expander, and that's going to be this clear. To call it an ink is incorrect, but I can't think of a better word for it. So I'm going to call it an ink. I know, sorry, Sawgrass, please don't shoot me. But the expander, it's a clear ink. What it does is the special media, and it looks like regular paper, but it's not. This is a sheet of the Sawgrass VersiFlex Light Media. And so on the print side, it's coated with a very special film that reacts with ink. What's cool about that is only the ink transfers to your substrate. So for example, on this graphic right here, all the space between the letters, it's just t-shirt. There's no extra film. It doesn't print a big square around your graphic. Only the ink reacts with the adhesive on this sheet. Now what happens is sometimes with lighter colors, there's not as much ink being printed on there, right? For example, if you look at these birds' wings, that's a very light shade of color, right? That's a very light shade of yellow. So with other similar transfer media that reacts with ink, that area wouldn't transfer because there's not enough ink coverage. So what Sawgrass did is what that clear expander is for, is that gets put over all of the light areas of your transfer, so every last color will react with the adhesive, and only the printed areas or the colored areas or the areas that you intend to end up on your substrate, which to me, that is incredible. That's what eliminates the need to cut, to load it into your Cricut or your, whatever your vinyl cutter is, your Silhouette, your Caesar, whatever you got. You don't have to cut it anymore. because only the printed areas, printed with regular ink and with that special clear coat, with that special clear expander, only those areas react with the special film. So it's really, really cool to be able to do these kinds of graphics. You print it, you press it, you peel it, reveal it. Like, it's that simple. And you don't have any of that background film. So that's really cool. Let's see, we got any other questions here? Let's see. Roberta says, it says we could change the paper to our normal sublimation paper, but I'm curious if for instance, mugs, tumblers, shirts, if they feel the same as before or different with the new machine. They feel exactly like any other thing. So with sublimation, when you're true sublimation, meaning let's say you have your Sawgrass with the Sublajet ink, heat pressing it onto a regular sublimation mug, you don't feel a darn thing. You do not feel any ink at all, right? Because this is true sublimation, once you load it with sublimation paper and you print using one of the sublimation print profiles, and I'll show you what that looks like right now, and you heat press it onto your sublimation mug, it's true sublimation. It's 100% true sublimation, so there's zero feel on this. Zero feel. There's no additional thickness. That's kind of part of the magic of Versaflex, is that it is still a true sublimation printer, but again, because it does so much more, it's almost an injustice to call it just a sublimation printer. That's why they had to come up with a whole new name for it. This is the hybrid decorating system. It does so many different things. Really, really cool. Brooke says the price isn't bad at all. It isn't when you think about all the cool things that you could do with it. I know for some people, especially if you're coming up, like you just bought your vinyl cutter, right? And look, we all come from different socioeconomic backgrounds. We all have different budgets. We all have different amounts in your bank account. If your bank account has like 6 or 7 digits in it, share with me, right? But we all have kind of our different ideas of what is expensive and what is not. But I think a lot of us in the business who want to offer multiple products to our customers, a lot of us who have one printer for this and one printer for that and one printer for that, being able to see one printer do multiple things, it's like, oh shoot, that's actually a great price because it's saving me on multiple products. So I agree with you there. Trudy's asking, can you change the ink of a current printer to the new ink? Unfortunately not. You got to load the Versaflex inks into a brand new system. So it was designed to work on the SG500 and SG1000 platform, but you got to start with a new printer. And that's just how it goes. And then I should say in general, Sawgrass does not recommend mixing any ink systems. So once you load a printer with a certain ink, you're pretty much stuck on that ink. Patricia, I love this question. She's asking, what is the difference between Versaflex and Chromoblast? I could finally say this out loud and in public. I don't like Chromoblast. I wasn't allowed to say that before, publicly, on camera. I could say it now. I never really liked Chromoblast. That's why you never really saw me make videos on it. Chromoblast is a very interesting product. Chromoblast is it's like a heat, and I'm not gonna like trash the product, but basically Chromoblast was like a dedicated system for Sawgrass printers, people who wanted to use heat transfer paper that was specifically designed for garments, for white and light cotton garments. Now Chromoblast, that's an older product. Chromoblast has been around, I would say, close to 10 years now, and so much has changed with technology in 10 years. To me, this is so much better than Chromoblast. First of all, it feels better, just right off the top, but Chromoblast was not self-weeding. Chromoblast, you still had to pass it through your vinyl cutter. With Chromoblast, if you didn't trim off the borders, you would get that big square. It did wash soft, so it definitely had some value. It was very long-lasting on the garments. It was great if you were already familiar with the SG platform, if you already had Sawgrass. So it definitely had its value. But this is just leaps and bounds beyond. We're at least 10 years past Chromoblast at this point. And this, I don't even want to compare it because it's just so much different. Where Chromoblast was just cotton t-shirts only. This is cotton t-shirts. You could do mixed blend t-shirts. We have some tutorials in the works where we're doing things like hats and hoodies and sweaters and different products. Uncoated hard surface substrates. What in the world? That blows my mind. And then the fact that it could still do regular sublimation, like, it's not even fair to compare it to Chromoblast, but for the sake of the question, which is a great question, It's just so much better and so much more advanced. Great question. Jesse Lynn is saying, is it only good on light colors? It won't show up on dark colors. So Sawgrass likes to say whites, lights, and brights. So you see it looks best right here on this white t-shirt. Same graphic, just a little bit smaller on this peach colored t-shirt. The colors actually came out pretty darn good on this peach color, but it does look a little bit different. And of course, these are darker colors. Lighter colors may show up differently on different color garments because there's no white ink, there's no white underbase printed with this print method. So the darker your garment, the less of the colors are gonna come through. It's kind of like using crayons on construction paper, right? The kids, they can color on like a light piece of construction paper, but once you start bringing out like the brown and even the black construction paper, when the kids are coloring, you don't see anything on that black paper, right? It's pretty much the same thing. The lighter the base, the better the colors are gonna come out, but we still have the option to print other ones. This is a peach t-shirt. I have a blue one that we're gonna press in a few minutes, just to kind of show like the variation of color output. Rufino says, I love that you can use the bypass tray. Yeah, that's really cool. And the media, the 13 by 19 inch media is already in stock. It's ready to go. Let's see. Oh, interesting point from Basketball Shares. My concern is placing wet ink on a surface that needs extreme precision. Yes, there are ways to mitigate it. And I'll show you how I place it, just so you can kind of get an idea. We're gonna get to the demo right now. So man, lots of great questions coming in. So let's go ahead and go on to our demo. I think it's gonna answer a lot of questions that we have. And then of course, I'll get to anything else after the demo. So I got my SG 1000 printer right here. I do have my letter size media loaded. Let's go into Sawgrass Print Utility. So we're here, Sawgrass Print Utility. We're gonna click Create, Add Files. I'm doing this left-handed, I don't know why. And I'm gonna print that same graphic. It's this one right here. Gonna load that up. It's a high-res image, so I'm gonna click Fit to Page just to make sure that everything is just resized and maxed out. It's gonna fill that page. We'll give our preview a second to update here. A few other settings I do wanna double check here. Adjust for light colors, I leave that on. And what that does is that lays down more of the expander or that clear coat. To me, it gives me a cleaner peel. So I like it, I leave that on even when I'm printing a graphic like this with more dark colors. Of course, you wanna leave it mirrored. I like to center it on the page, which helps me with my alignment. So if the page is aligned, then I know that my graphic's aligned. Media size is letter. Yes, I am printing onto a letter size piece of paper. Print quality is high. Media type Versaflex, so check this out. So cotton, right? That's not a regular sublimation substrate. If I did switch to something like an MDF board, it's gonna automatically update my media types to where I could only select regular sublimation paper. It also internally adjusts, turns on and off that clear coat, that expander, since that's not needed for regular sublimation applications. So you're always gonna have the right print settings as long as you select the right product. In this case, I'm pressing onto cotton, Versaflex Light. And because this is a graphic and not a photograph, I'm going to go to color management and I'm going to select vivid. There's no skin tones present, so I don't mind an extra boost of saturation. I kind of do want that color, especially since I'm going to be pressing this onto a blue t-shirt. This is ready to go. I could click print, but I'm not gonna. I'm actually gonna go over to my heat press, pre-press my shirt, and get that ready to go. And I'll tell you why, but let's head on over to the heat press. All right, so here we go. We're gonna slide this out. Gonna load my wrinkly t-shirt on here. No worries. There we go. Make sure my shirt, it's very important, you make sure your shirt is centered to the lower platen. And then once that's done, I'm gonna give it a pre-press for a few seconds. We've been testing, we actually just went live on Instagram, so my lower platen's pretty warm. One thing that I found, this product is a little heat sensitive, so you do want to make sure that your lower platen is warm when you're using this product. And I want to change my time setting down to 30 seconds. I don't know why I have it at 45. I think I was testing something else. There we go, 30 seconds. Okay, cool. So let's see here. Okay, yeah, my lower platinum's pretty warm. T-shirt is pre-pressed, so this is ready to go. The reason why I did this before I sent it to print is because we do, for best results, you want a wet application of your Versaflex transfer media, meaning as soon as it comes off the printer, you bring it over here and you press it while the ink is still a little bit wet on the surface. So for that reason, I have everything ready to go. Then I click print, so when it's done printing, I can come straight over here and press it. So let's go back over to my computer, click print, and then we'll get this ready. All right, so back on the computer, everything is set. I didn't change any settings, so I'm just gonna click print. Boom. It's gonna take a few seconds. While it prints, I got about 40 seconds. Let's see what kind of questions I can answer in 40 seconds. Runboy7426, interesting question. For those of us who already own an SG-1000, why can't the printer be cleaned and converted to the Versaflex ink? Unofficially, this is not an official recommendation. In my personal opinion, if you're very well experienced with printers and you know how to properly purge an ink line of any ink, go for it. However, even if you are a pro and you do it properly and you're able to load the Versaflex inks, you will void the warranty on the printer. So I wouldn't do it on a printer that was purchased in the last 2 years, because then it's still covered under warranty. If you're outside of your 2-year warranty on your Sawgrass printer and you would like to try that and you are a professional and you know exactly how to purge out any and all ink from the print lines, I'm not going to encourage you to do it, but I won't stop you. But that's basically what it would take, and that's because most people can't do that. That's why we recommend against it. But this is fresh off the printer here. So I'm going to take it over to my heat press and we're going to print it. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to hold it like this, right? I'll center it with my t-shirt, lay it down, try not to smudge anything, and I'm pretty good. I might be, yeah, not bad. I'm gonna cover it with parchment paper. Now I'm using the TrueSpec heat press. I'm at 375 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 seconds with a medium firm pressure. Actually, no, I'm not, I take it back, not medium firm, firm. On a TrueSpec, you're gonna wanna press at either a 7 or 8 pressure. Any other heat press, you wanna have your pressure as close to max as possible, if we're being totally honest. That's how we've been getting our best results. And I almost forgot, get some gloves, because this is an immediate hot peel. For best results, you will peel this as soon as it comes out. If you need gloves, look, we got the Heat Press Nation gloves here. Get your gloves. There we go. Gonna open this up, not gonna waste any time. There we go. There we go. Boom. That looks great. Now, the shirt did stretch a little bit because of how I was peeling it. No worries, you just pat it back down. Get it nice and smooth. And then you want to repress it for the best feel possible. There we go. Get that nice and smooth. I'm going to repress it for about 10 seconds or so. This is what we've found in our testing to give us the best feel or hand. So there we go, 10 seconds. Do that. Oh, I think I got something. Oh, there we go. Oh, dirt. Check that out, dude. That looks great. That looks awesome. Let's go back to the table here. I'll show it off, and then I'll put it right here up front so you can kind of see how it compares with the white and the peach shirts. Check that out, that looks great. And this feels absolutely amazing. Look, I love DTF. I am wearing, oh no, this is actually white toner. Shout out to white toner. No, I love DTF, right? This would actually be a good graphic for DTF because there's a lot of negative space. That being said, I can't imagine getting a better feel unless you were to like screen print it. And even then, you'd have to use the right screen print inks because, you know, some people they use like, they put down a heck of a lot of ink and it feels really thick. So this feels like a really good screen print person did this for me. And yeah, full color, weedless, you saw how it went. Let me go ahead and fold it really quick and I'll put it up there and we can kind of hold it up against, I'm messing everything up today. You guys can see how my ghetto prop, how I stand up that graphic. We taped it to a shot glass to hold it up. Okay, if this fold is horrible, forgive me. There we go. Okay, cool. So check this out. You could see here that like, it's gonna look best on white. So it's gonna look best on white, no denying that, right? But you're not limited to just white. You could press the same graphic on different colors. Of course, we're using lighter colors. The darker you go in color of your garment, basically the more lost your graphic is gonna get against that background. And once you get into deeper colors like navy blues and dark, you know, chocolate browns and, you know, black t-shirts, it's not gonna work. You just will not be able to see your graphic against that background. But again, lights, brights, whites, like you got it. That looks absolutely fantastic. So let me see if there's any questions that I need to address here. Tom is asking on mugs, is it still 30 washes or will it last as long as regular sub? This is on any sublimation process, like using sublimation paper on a regular sublimation blank, true sublimation. So it'll last just as long as any other sublimation project. So this is still Sawgrass. These guys are the kings of sublimation. And so of course, when used as a sublimation printer, it's gonna last just as long. You can use it for all the same projects. But now, thanks to the special updated Versaflex inks with that expander cartridge, with the Versaflex Light Media, it really just blows open the doors of all the different things that you can do. So it's no longer just sublimation. It's so much more. Let's see. Megan Moyer. Oh, see, I didn't even see your question, but I feel like I answered that, asking about navy or dark blue. Yeah, the darker the color garment, the less you'll be able to see it. Tom is asking parchment paper instead of butcher paper. We're parchment paper people here. You know what's funny? I've tried butcher paper. From what I've seen, it works just as good. But I think it's one of those things where it's like, once you develop a preference, you're just locked. You're locked in. Like with vinyl cutters, like I'm a silhouette guy. Like, yes, like I have pals over at Caesar. I don't have any pals at Cricut, but you know, I've tried all the cutters and yeah, you know, once you lock in on a preference, you lock in, right? So parchment, I'm a parchment guy. All of us here, we all use parchment. If butcher paper works for you, go for it. Go for it. Oh, my pal, Crafty Gotti is, so once we place it down, we can't move it. It's wet, so it will smudge. Yes, that is correct. Now, what we have tried, we have tested letting the ink dry and then pressing it. And what we have found is the ink should dry enough after about 1 to 2 minutes of sitting after being pressed. But what happens is the peel it becomes a lot harder to peel it, and then the colors look just a little bit different when you wait. And so for best results and the smoothest peel and the most consistent results, you have to place it wet. So far in our testing of when we've let the transfers dry, we're still working on it, but it's not, we really advise just placing it wet, you know, for the best, easiest, smoothest results. Trudy's asking, where does the expander cartridge fit? So the expander cartridge is replacing your black cartridge. So you see we have cyan, magenta, yellow, and instead of black, why can't I do this? There we go. So this is the expander cartridge. This has, again, it's not an ink, but since I don't know what to call it, I'm gonna call it clear ink. And so that's what covers the prints, so that way everything transfers. So this is the Versaflex Light Media. This has a special coating that's designed where the adhesive only reacts to printed areas. But sometimes, because printed areas where there's light, like especially on a photograph, you know, where the sky, you know, it's a blue sky but a white cloud, the lighter areas of that graphic, there's not a lot of ink there. And so when you work with a transfer media that reacts with ink, on some of the lighter areas, it looks very splotchy and ugly. So you could only do dark transfers with it, or dark ink, images with dark coverage. However, thanks to this clear expander cartridge that lays down that kind of, it's not a clear coat, but again, this is so new that I'm like making up words to describe it. It lays down that clear coat so that way that area of lighter ink coverage can react with the adhesive so the whole image transfers. It's awesome, it's really cool. We've been doing tests where we print a full photograph on a t-shirt and it looks amazing. And what's awesome, kind of going back to comparing it to DTF, is that with DTF, when you print a full photograph, it feels kind of heavy, you know, because it's a solid block of just print. Because this is so much lighter and thinner, it's bearable. So if I was going to wear a photograph on a t-shirt this summer, yeah, I'm probably going to use this versus direct-to-film, just because that's going to give it a little bit thicker coverage, a little bit thicker feel. I have one more tutorial for you guys today. We are going to print on this little wood oval, and this is just a craft piece of cut wood. I got it for like 99 cents at my local craft store, who doesn't pay me, so I'm not going to give you their name, Michael's, whatever. They're the only ones left, I feel like. Anyways, 99 cents. Let's customize it. So I'm going to go back into my Sawgrass print utility. We're going to open up a new graphic here. We're going to add the file. I think it's Oval Wood 2. Yes, Oval Wood 2. Now this one, I did already size it to print, so it's going to import in the perfect dimensions. The one thing I forgot to do is rotate it. So I will, where is that? There it is. I'm just going to rotate that. And then I like it to be, oh, yeah, I'll plug that in later. I want it to be centered on my page. And of course, other settings. This is not cotton, this is uncoated wood. Very important, so that way it's going to bring up my Versaflex Light Media. High quality, okay, that's pretty good. Color management, again, this is a just graphic, so I'm going to set it to vivid. And before I send it to print, I got to make sure my press is ready. So let's take this over here and adjust our pressure. Oh, so many cables here. All right. Oh, nice. Oh, you guys are witnessing me finish a roll of parchment. Dude, I don't know why it feels like such a big accomplishment. Like, these rolls are huge. It takes us forever to finish a roll. Anyways, that's such a dumb thing to get excited over. All right. So I'm going to put my wood oval, whatever you want to call it, right here at the middle of my press. And I need to be at a medium pressure. So for t-shirts, we go for a firm pressure. Oh, perfect, first try. On the true spec, for t-shirts, we want to be at a 7 or 8. On the true spec, for wood like this, you want to be at about a 3 or 4, 4 being ideal. So there we go. I'm going to come back to my printer. I'm just going to click print. And as soon as this is done, I'm going to take it over to my heat press, and my wood oval, again, I don't know what else to call this, but this will be ready to go. Let's see if we have any questions here while we wait for this to print. Marcy's asking, so you don't have to marry anything like white toner printers. And is it as vibrant as Sublimation UHD ink? So is the swing press suggested since you want bottom heat? So no pre-printing like regular. So lots of good questions here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get to all of those. This is printing faster than I thought. I'll get to all of those. But to answer your first question, no, there's no need to marry an A and a B sheet together. For the light colored shirts, which we demoed a few moments ago. And even for the hard surface substrates, as you can see, I'm going to print it, I'm going to press it, and then we're ready to go. So check this out here. So now what I did is I printed this to be just a little bit bigger than necessary, so I can, a little lint. So I could just use those borders as my guide. There we go. Oh, I think I came a little bit close to the border. We're about to find out. I'm gonna flip it over, cover it with parchment, make sure, yeah, it's at the center. Same settings, 375 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 seconds on the clock for a thinner piece of wood like this. The only difference is my pressure is gonna be at a medium instead of firm, which is, again, for t-shirts, garments, you want it firm. Hard surfaces, medium is fine in most cases. And we do have lots of tutorials coming out on our YouTube channel. I believe if you watch the unboxing video for our Versaflex printer, we actually included tutorials for all 3 different types of transfers. Oh no, I forgot my gloves. Okay, hold on. This is very heat sensitive and you need to peel it immediately. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just let it down for like 5 seconds just so it stays nice and hot, because I forgot to put my gloves on. There we go. All right, so now I'm gonna bring this over. We're gonna peel immediately. Ah, darn it. Let's see if I can get this. Yep. Yeah, doggone. So here's what I mean by it being heat sensitive. You saw how I reheated it right now? I probably should have let it go for a little bit longer, because this right here, this actually cooled. I don't know if you could see it. So this little bit of paper here, it cooled down a little bit, because when I opened it and I had to pause and put my gloves on, you gotta peel this joint immediately. Now for this, the longer it cools, the harder it's gonna be to peel off. If I had like a weeding hook tool on me, or you know what the heck, we're experimenting live. We're all here. I'm gonna reheat this and I'm gonna see, yeah. I'm gonna reheat that for about 10 seconds. I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try to pry off that paper really quick here. We're experimenting. This is an experiment live. Again, you should just be pressing this. Oh yeah, that would work. No, not gonna work. Oh, maybe a little bit. But see, the printed, like I'm definitely scratching the surface of this wood thing, so. I did it. I got the paper off at the expense of scratching the surface of my transfer. Okay, well, at least we answered that question. We are discovering things together, ladies and gentlemen. I got the paper off. I'm a little bit happy about that. Let's take it over to the other camera. So here we go. So that kind of just proves the point of why it's very important to peel it immediately. And when you're working with a thicker piece of wood, like I should say a piece of wood thicker than this, you're probably going to have to add more time to allow the heat to penetrate the surface a little bit better. But this still kind of came out pretty darn good. And it's only 99 cents, and I have the backside to still work with. So that's actually my first mess up, because like all the other ones, they came out great. If you go on our Instagram, you'll see I did this one perfectly, because I didn't wait. I peeled it immediately. So you just got to make sure you're peeling immediately. Get some gloves to help you with that as necessary. Penelope's asking, is this the same system that as the Revel that Condi launched a year ago? I doubt it. I really don't think so. I'm trying to remember the specifics of that launch. But this is unlike anything we've ever seen. So probably not. Let's see. Megan saying print a darker image. A darker image. So I could show you this, and I hope I don't get sued by what's their names? By Marvel. But like this, and there's a lot of small detail. This is like the Avengers. Oh, you want to bring it over here? Okay, give me a sec. So this is, forgive me, this is the poster from Endgame, I want to say. So yeah, lots of darks on this image. Again, please don't sue me, Marvel. This is for testing purposes only. But yeah, I wanted to see how a dark graphic would come out. So there you go. That's how a darker image would come out on. And this is, again, 99-cent piece of just whatever craft wood, uncoated, nothing special about this at all. At all. And I promise, if I would have put this on a white t-shirt, it would have come out so much better. However, I'm not in the bootleg industry, so I'm not going to put this on a white t-shirt. Let's see. Any other questions here? Stubborn Bull is saying, so no black, no white. I'm not sure I understand what that. I know no black. Yeah, so there's no. Oh, I think referring to, I guess, the ink system. Yeah, so there's no black ink cartridge. It uses what's called a process black, just like white toner. All the white toner printers and like tabloid and undersize, they all use a process black, which is when you use the CMYK cartridges to produce black. If I had time, I would go into like CMYK color theory because there's a reason why that works. But anyways, oh yeah, sorry, to finish the question, no cutting or weeding. Having a tough time seeing what I would really need that for. Sublimation, okay. Hard substrates and polyester apparel, white cotton tee if needed, DTF. Yeah, so I kind of mentioned this in the beginning, and I totally get it. I respect your decision or your opinion or your view, your belief that this may not be for you. At Heat Press Nation, we don't believe there's one printer for everybody. We truly do not. I truly believe that while this system is going to be awesome and it's going to bring value and increase revenue for some businesses, it's the wrong choice for other ones. I think the same thing about DTF. DTF to me, like there's some people who should not even touch it. Don't even touch it because your business is not really a viable candidate for that. There's so many different print methods in this industry that you really have to take the time and do your homework and see what's going to work best for you. And that's what we're doing at Heat Press Nation. I'm here, we're going live, we're answering questions because I want to make sure that we're bringing the best possible information for those who do have a need for this. And so this is such a brand new product. Like there's not a lot of like actual, I'm not the only person who tested it. There's some other people who have been testing this product and bringing it into their businesses and such. And so I'm excited to hear from them, like how they're making money with it. But this is brand new. So how people are making money with it, that's still to be determined. It's kind of like how sometimes art influences technology, which influences art, which influences technology. We're kind of in that where the technology is new, and so that's going to be influencing the art and the business of it. So it's really exciting times. But for me, just off the top of my head, how I would adopt this into my business is, first of all, I have a graphic which for my t-shirt line, Tuesday's Best. I have a t-shirt that it's just one solid block of coverage, and I've had it printed with Supacolor. I've had it printed with DTF. I had it printed with vinyl. And because it's a solid big block, it's just so heavy. And I can't afford to screen print it. Now that I have this, as long as I put it on a light colored t-shirt, I'm in business. So that graphic that's been in my head, and it's been on a handful of t-shirts, that's not comfortable to wear, now it is. So for me, just on that, it's like, yes, that's a big one. In other areas, now I can offer packages to customers. You know, I just got, my landlord just asked me to make t-shirts for the kid's birthday. And now I'm like, hey, do you need a cake topper, or do you want to add a picture frame, or for the table, or, you know, now you can start just thinking and expanding. Like, if you have the customer base that is into purchasing packages and kits and you want to be able to offer them multiple things, this is awesome. Especially, not only do you have uncoated hard surfaces, light cotton garments, and when I say garments, I mean hoodies, hats, t-shirts. I mean, we have a ton of tutorials in the pipeline right now. But on top of all that, you still have the big wide world of sublimation, which is mugs, tumblers, keychains, so many things that you could sublimate on, all with this printer. So again, for some people, it's just not gonna work, and that's totally okay. We respect that. And actually give us a call because we'd love to connect you with the print method that's gonna work for your business. But if you're watching this and you're saying, oh, dude, I could totally make money on that, then yes, then this is totally and 100% for you. Tom is asking, if doing a dark shirt and printing on vinyl, does it still self-weed? Unfortunately not. For dark garments, you are able to use the printable, or I should say the print and cut vinyl for sublimation, but it's still print and cut, so you're still gonna have to pass it through your vinyl cutter. Again, for dark garments only. For light garments like what you saw here, we just showed it totally weedless. Kara's asking, so random question, how does this compare to the Unionet sublimation cartridges? Like with their white toner printer, can you also do sublimation on? I love the Unionet system. I'm actually wearing, I don't know if I printed this on Unionet or Creo, but this is a white toner print on my t-shirt right now. Love it. With Unionet, the cartridges, when you buy the full set, it can be a little bit expensive. I want to say it's just a little bit over $1,000 for the sublimation cartridge set. But with a Unionet printer, if you already have one, you could buy those cartridges. And yes, you will have sublimation with your white toner, which allows you to do cotton and hard surfaces. The difference here is that you still need the separate set of cartridges and you got to swap out for sublimation. With Versaflex, you're only switching the paper, which is very fast, and it's a little bit more affordable than the white toner systems, especially in this size. Actually, let me rephrase, on a size-to-size comparison, Versaflex is much more affordable. So again, it just really depends on your budget. You know, if you wanted to do dark cotton t-shirts and hard surfaces, then maybe, you know, scrap together a little bit more cash and then you can go for the white toner system, which could do all of that. So again, in its price range, in its size, like there's nothing else, you know, and that's where it's kind of like, well, for your business, how much money do you have? How much are you ready to spend? How many printers do you want to own? Do you like the feel of this? Do you like the look of this? That's why it's important to do your homework, watch these live streams, watch the tutorials and the videos, and ask all the questions. And that way, for your business, you can have the most input and you know, be able to make that choice. So we love all the questions. Basketball shares. Everyone keeps saying there is no black. Is there or isn't there? No, there is no black cartridge, but we use what's called a process black. And so I'll actually explain that. So in the CMYK system, cyan, magenta, yellow, black, or K, we call it black, but K actually stands for key. So in CMYK, you actually combine cyan, magenta, yellow, and because those inks or pigments are usually semi-transparent, when you combine all of them for black, it's a little bit see-through, so it looks a little gray. So that's why on a CMYK printer, the fourth cartridge, which is K, actually doesn't stand, K doesn't stand for black, it stands for key. So what it'll do in the CMYK system, it'll print the three colors, and then over the areas that are supposed to be black, it'll add an extra layer of the key, black, we'll call it black. It'll add that to make sure that on the finished product, it looks completely black. So when you're printing CMYK, when you need to print black, it's actually not just black cartridge. You're actually using all four colors to make the black on any CMYK print. So what Sawgrass did, and what white toner printers have been doing for a little while now, is because they are working on a platform with only 4 slots for cartridges or inks, and one of those slots is being taken up, what they do is they sacrifice the key cartridge and then just fine-tune both the software and the ink system to when you combine the three, the cyan, magenta, yellow, you're actually able to get a fuller, richer dark color, or, you know, a fuller, richer black. So yes, it is possible to create black with CMY. We've seen it here. If I had, don't share my screen, I'm gonna see if I have a file here to test, and if I don't, oh well. Because what we did was we printed in solid black on here. No, I don't have that file on here. I'll have to show you guys another time. But yeah, what we did was we printed this graphic in solid black to see how the blacks would come out, and they came out very black. We were very pleased with the output. It's a long way of answering your question. I'm so sorry, tangenting here. But yeah, in short, no black cartridge, but that's okay because the other 3 cartridges combined to form process black, which in our testing has performed very, very well. So yeah, long answer, so sorry guys. You guys got me talking. I'm like, what is it like on Incredibles? Like, oh, you sly dog, you got me monologuing. Yeah, just ask me about colors and yeah. All right, there we go. Samantha's saying, I was told that the colors aren't as vivid on the cups. Is that true? This looks pretty darn good to me. Of course, you wouldn't know unless you had the original printed, You wouldn't know unless you compared it directly next to something printed on a different printer, we got those videos in the pipeline. This is a brand new printer. So we have tests. We're gonna be showing A/B tests. How does sublimation work on Sublimation versus Versaflex? All those videos are coming in the pipeline. It's a lot of work for our video team. Shout out to our main man, my buddy Patrick. It's a lot of work getting these videos out. But trust me, we got tons of tutorials in the pipeline. We're going to be showing everything off, how to do it, comparing the vibrancy of Versaflex inks compared to regular Sublimation and all that. Big thank you. For all the birthday wishes. I appreciate that, guys. You're very kind. Gotti, everybody. Thank you all. Let's see. I think that's going to do it for today. Renee's asking, is this the machine that you can use both sublimation inks and the DT or the DTF? What's that printer called? That does. So this is more than sublimation, it's more than DTF. It's honestly a completely different system. That's why we're calling it, that's why Sawgrass is calling it, we're calling it the VersaFlex hybrid decorating system, because it's able to do cotton shirts similar. It's not exactly like DTF, it's similar, but it's also able to do uncoated hard substrates and traditional sublimation, which DTF cannot do. You might be thinking of white toner, because white toner does print onto a film. Process is a little bit closer to DTF, and you could still do uncoated surfaces, and if you have the unit and eye color sublimation system, you could do traditional sublimation as well. That system is more expensive. I don't have exact figures. I will say roughly double when you're comparing on a size to size basis of the printers. So we have videos. Be sure to check them out on our YouTube. And if you have questions and you don't really know exactly where to start searching, shoot us an email. Feel free to put your questions into an email. Our staff here can actually send you like links to the right videos explaining what's what. Call us back, talk to us. Like, we definitely want to. Again, I said it a few times already. We don't think that there's one print system that's perfect for everybody, but we do want to connect you with the print system that's right for you, whether it's Versaflex, whether it's DTF, or whether it's something totally different. We want to get you into the right system. In this live stream, we've been talking about Versaflex because I'm very excited about it. It's brand new, and hopefully we're able to answer everybody's questions about this. But if you have questions about other systems, yeah, reach out to us. We're happy to answer that. I'll take one more question, and then we're going to get going here. Last one, very fitting. I'm so late. So this is a completely new printer. Can I use an SG printer, a new printer with the ink for this machine? Yes, so this is a totally new system. Highly recommend just kind of going back and rewatching this live stream. We're actually going to play a video in a few moments that's going to kind of recap everything I said in a scripted way, so the information is more concise. I'm not scripted right now. We're live. I'm answering questions, doing demos, messing stuff up, and showing you guys pretty much everything live right now. So actually, that's a good time for me to go. I want to thank everybody for joining me. Don't go away. We're about to roll a video that's going to summarize the Versaflex system, and I think answer a lot of questions that might still be pending. If not, feel free to reach out to us. My name is Jared. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Check out this video, but I'll see you around. This is the Sawgrass VersiFlex hybrid decorating system, and in this video, we're going to take you through the complete unboxing, setup and installation, as well as first print for 3 different projects. We're going to show you how to press onto 100% cotton, uncoated hard surfaces, and a true sublimation application. Let's get started. All right, let's go ahead and unbox this. Now remember, the process is going to be identical, whether you have an SG500 or SG1000, or if you're using the Sublimation, Easy Subli, or Versaflex inks. Now, because this is a general unboxing video, you'll notice that there's no install kit here on top of the printer. However, when you receive your printer, there will be an install kit with your selected ink system. For example, if you order a printer with the Versaflex ink system, you'll have your printer kit either here on top or somewhere inside the box with the Versaflex install kit that has your inks, setup guide information, etc. All right, let's go ahead and get this here. Now, this is attached to the bag. There we go. This is going to be our safety information, basic general information right here. We're going to remove these here. Now this one's empty, but this one right here, it does have some very important cables. This is going to have our power cable and our USB cable. Those are included. Let's move those to the side. And now we're going to go ahead and remove our foam protective inserts. There we go. Okay, now we have our printer. Ideally, you'll have two people to do this. One to lift it out of the box, the other to move the box out of the way. Or, each of you guys could do that. I'm going to do this solo. One thing that's very important to remember, do not lift it by the bag. I know it's going to be tempting because it's going to seem very easy, but we have definitely heard of customers where it slips out of the bag, they lose grip on the bag. Trust me, please do not try to lift it out by the bag. Reach down, get in and under, and lift it up by the base of the machine. Okay. Okay, we're going to go ahead and safely remove this from its box. There you go. Again, if you're doing this solo, lift one side. And safely lift the other side. There we go. Now we have all these little bits and pieces of tape on here, and these are very important. They help keep everything together while your printer is in transit. If you have the SG500, you may see tape in slightly different places, but no matter, you're going to want to go all the way around your printer, making sure all the tape has been removed. You're also going to want to lift some lids. And also there's some pieces of foam like right in here that you'll want to safely remove. And again, this just helps keep everything together. All right, first things first, let's go ahead and get our Versaflex inks installed into our Sawgrass SG1000. We're going to open this front panel here, and you'll notice these are color coded, so be sure you follow that order. It's very important that you don't mix up the cartridges. Now I'm going to be installing our Versaflex ink system. So the black is actually going to be our expander cartridge, but the other three colors, cyan, magenta, yellow, are of course going to coordinate. Okay, we're going to take our ink cartridge out of the sealed pack, and it has the color or the cartridge right here on the back. E stands for expander. That's going to be replacing our black cartridge here. To install it, there are some guides here, both the top and bottom. You're going to insert it. You should be able to press it in with one or two fingers. You're going to feel a little click or a little snap into place, and that's how you know you've installed it correctly. And we're going to repeat those steps for the other three cartridges. Cyan is up next. It's important to know that you shouldn't have to force anything into place if you're not able to press the cartridge in with a simple press of one or two fingers. Pull it out and try to reinsert it again. You should not have to force anything into place. Once that's complete, we're going to go ahead and close the lid. And now we can plug in and power on our printer. To connect the USB, we're going to go ahead and open this lid right here. This lid does remove. We can insert our USB cable. And then there is a little slot here, a little area for good clean cable management. So you can go ahead and insert your USB cable there, give it just a little bit slack, and then you can close the lid over it for a nice, clean, streamlined look. Now, this is how we load the media into tray 1 on a Sawgrass printer, whether it's the SG500 or SG1000. We're going to go and pull it out. And using these green tabs, we're going to adjust the tray. We're going to slide this one all the way back. Press this down, open it up. You'll see it opens up both of the side guides. And now we're going to load our Versaflex light media. Now, this media here is going to be light colored on both sides, but there is a different texture. If you lose track of which side is the back and which is the front, the print side is going to have a slightly different texture. It's not going to be as smooth as the back. The back of the paper, which is not the print side, the back side is going to have a very, very smooth feel to it. So you can always go by feel. Ultra smooth is going to be the back, and then slightly textured is going to be on the front. Let's go ahead and load our media in. We're going to close these guides here. Now you don't want it to be pinching the paper, you just want it gripping just tight enough so that everything loads straight. Adjust that tab, and now we could slide it back in. With our inks installed, we're going to go ahead and turn on the printer for the first time, and it's going to perform what's known as an ink charge, and that's where the ink travels from the cartridges all the way to the print heads, filling the tubes along the way. This does take about 7 minutes, so make sure you have some time. All right, to get started with our installation, we're going to go to www.sawgrassink.com/install. And this is going to forward us to a page where we can download Print Utility. Now, Print Utility is going to be the RIP program, raster image processing program that comes with your Sawgrass printer. Now, because I'm using Windows, it's going to default to my operating system. Of course, if you have a Mac, you can select the download for Mac. I'm using Windows, and I'm going to click Download Print Utility. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save that. Okay, now once your file has downloaded, you can go ahead and click it to run. And we're going to go ahead and let it do its thing. Now that it's complete, we're going to go ahead and click Finish. And I like to leave this box checked. That way it'll open up the program as soon as it's ready. All right, so now we're going to add a device. I'm going to click that button right there. Now again, in this video, I'm going to be using the SG-1000, but of course, as you can see, this is going to work for any of the Sawgrass printers. So select your printer. We'll be connecting via USB. And now it's going to install the drivers. And as you can see it telling us on the screen, the driver installation is going to open up in a separate window. Okay, make sure you take a moment to read this, then you can accept and click Next. And we're going to be adding a new printer. And we're going to be connecting via USB cable. Okay, now if you've already connected your printer to the computer, go ahead and follow the instructions on screen, disconnect it and turn it off. And go ahead and power off my printer. And then once that's done, we're going to click Next. Okay, now at this point, we're going to go ahead and connect our USB cable to the computer. And we're going to power on our printer. And now that our print driver installation has been completed, we're going to go ahead and click Finish here. And now back in Print Utility, we're going to check that we've completed installing the print driver and click Continue. Now this is a rare situation, but if you purchase multiple printers and you're connecting them all at the same time, you're going to want to add those now. But since we're only doing one, so since we've connected that one, we're going to click Connect All Printers. Now it says you'll not be able to change this selection later, but what that means is if you mess up this step, you'll have to restart the printer's installation and setup all over again, and you don't want to do that. So click the drop down here. Now you see we have 4 different ink systems available. Go ahead and choose the one that you have. So if you purchased your Sawgrass printer with the Sublimation ink, you're going to choose Sublimation. Same with Easy Subli Chromoblast. In this case, we're going to be setting up this printer with the Versaflex ink system. So I'm going to click Versaflex, click Done. All right, well, now that we have our inks installed, we've set up our software, we're ready to go. So to kick things off, let's get started by printing our first 100% cotton t-shirt with our Versaflex system. We're going to go ahead and click the Create button. And we're going to add our file. You could also just drag your file in. I'm bringing my Versaflex test image, although this is just a great image to use in general. Now this is a very, very high resolution images, so it's not going to fit. I want it to print at a 10.4-inch width. And so once I do that, it's automatically going to resize the height for me as well. And the preview will update. So now let's go over to our print settings here. You can see we're in the general print settings. Portrait, we want to, I honestly prefer to leave this on at just for light colors. Even if I have dark colors, I like the results better. So I leave that on all the time. Of course, you want it to be mirrored. We're going to choose cotton. So now if we choose any other material, like let's say we choose ceramic, what it's going to do is it's going to default to a regular sublimation print. So it's not going to print with that clear coat on there with the expander being laid down. So you want to make sure it's cotton. Also, if we click anything else like ceramic, it's going to change the media type to like TruePix Classic or any of the regular sublimation papers. So since we're using Versaflex light media, we want to pick a compatible product. And of course, when we click cotton, automatically defaults the media type to Versaflex light. We want our print quality to be high. And I'm actually going to be using a tabloid size sheet. And that's probably why the preview looks the way it does. So once I change it to tabloid, that preview should update with it all fitting on the sheet there. Media source, I'm on my tray. I don't have the bypass tray installed right now. If I did, then I would select it. Now, other print settings while the preview updates. There we go. So now you can see my whole print is there in the preview. We're going to go to color management. And because this is a graphic image, there's no skin tones or anything like that here. This is a graphic image. I'm going to go to vivid to get just the best possible colors. And once that's updated, we are ready to go. And we'll click print. Now, a print this size is going to take about a minute. It's about 70 seconds, which is just enough time for me to load my t-shirt onto my heat press. And I'm going to pre-press it for about 7 seconds or so, just long enough to get out all of the wrinkles and the moisture and give us a nice surface for our Versaflex to go on top of. My print is fresh out of the printer, and we want to apply it while the ink is still wet. Now, that does present a slight challenge. You're going to want to be very careful to make sure that your print is aligned properly when you set it down, because this ink is still wet. Once we set it down, we're going to be locked in position. There we go. This may take a little bit of practice to get it centered on the first try. But don't worry, after a little while, you can get it done without issue. I'm going to cover it with parchment paper, slide it back in, and we're going to press. Our heat press is set to 375 degrees for 30 seconds with a firm pressure. We are using the TrueSpec heat press, and our pressure is actually set to 8. In our testing, we found the best results for t-shirts are when this press is set to about a 7 or an 8. Now, of course, this is the TrueSpec Hybrid Auto Open. I do have it in manual mode right now, but of course, we just flip this right here and we could make it auto open just like that. Let's open it up, get the parchment out of the way, and this is going to be an immediate hot peel. If you need a glove or something to hold it down, you can. So I'm just going to get it in one quick, smooth motion. There we go. It might tug a little bit on the t-shirt. That's totally okay. There we go. What we're really looking for is that you want a clean release. So you want all of that ink to just stay on the shirt. Sometimes it does pull a little bit, but that's totally okay. Another thing that's important, you see me smoothing this out. You want it to be flat. You want it to actually cool flat. If you take it off your press and you just like lay it down while it's wrinkles, those wrinkles could set in. You don't want to do that. And there's actually one more thing that I do like to do. It already has a really nice soft hand. Honestly, this feels so much better than DTF, than vinyl. Very comparable to screen print and DTG. And to give it an even better feel and finish, we're going to cover it with parchment paper. And we're going to do a finishing press for about 10 seconds. Now, the transfer is already in the shirt. This is not really for longevity. This is for the feel. You're immediately going to notice a difference in the feel when we do a 10-second post press. There we go. To me, it looks better, it feels better, and I'm a big fan of this right here. Check that out. Now, if you're looking for the speed, the quality, the feel of DTF or even DTG from a sublimation printer, Versaflex is the way to go. It's the only printer on the market that's going to give you this kind of a result and still be able to do things like sublimation and uncoated hard surfaces. So this is really awesome here. And now with our Versaflex system, we're going to go ahead and press onto an uncoated wood substrate. We're going to follow the same procedure. We're going to click Create in Sawgrass Print Utility. We're going to add our file, and I believe I'm going for, yes, we're going for our oval wood graphic. Now I already have this sized properly here. Just for my sake, I do like to rotate it. And then I also like it to be centered on the page. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit here. And we've already gone through these settings. Of course, we want to change our product to uncoated wood. And that's going to default us to the Versaflex Lite. Media size, I'm actually using an A4 sheet right now. And then because this graphic is not a photograph, you know, it's actual it's an actual graphic, we're going to switch to vivid mode. Get a nice pop of color there. And it looks like we are good to go. So let's go ahead and click print. Now, of course, we want to get everything ready on the heat press first before we click print. That way, when the paper comes out of the printer, we can take it straight over there and get it pressed. So with my heat press ready, let's go ahead and click print. So now here on my heat press, I do already have a sheet of parchment paper protecting my lower platen. I've also already adjusted my pressure for this substrate, in which case we're going to be using this really cool oval wood cut that we got from our local craft store. It's going to be awesome. Now there's no need to pre-press here. We're just going to be ready. As soon as that print comes out, going to bring it over, place it, and press. So here we go. This is our print. It's gorgeous, but let's hurry up and get it pressed while the ink is still wet. Now you do have only one shot at this, so I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to look over it. So it's very helpful to have a slide out lower platen. And once I'm confident in my placement, going to drop it down there. You see I do have a little bit of bleed. That's what helped me to make sure that everything is aligned properly. Going to flip this over. Careful not to smudge it. Place it on the center of my heat press. Cover with another sheet of parchment, slide it back, and press. We are at a medium, it's a medium light pressure. It's actually closer to medium light on here, and we're ready to rock and roll. 30 seconds on the clock, definitely a good time to get my gloves on. Heat Press Nation Pro Grade gloves here. Now this is going to be hot and it's going to require a hot peel. That's why I have the gloves on so I don't burn my fingers and I can just peel that off instantly. So we got that ready. I'm in manual mode on my TrueSpec hybrid auto open heat press. Get that out of the way. And with no hesitation, we're just going to go straight into it. Low, slow, smooth, easy. Look at that. Dude. It doesn't get much nicer than that. And the beauty of this here is this is an uncoated wood surface. So this is not made for sublimation. This is made for like painting and crafting, and you can glue your rhinestones on there. But with the magic of Versaflex and the Versaflex Light Media, we're able to customize uncoated wood surfaces. Take a look at that. For this next project, we're gonna make one of my favorite things, a coffee mug. And to do that, we're gonna switch out our Versaflex Light Media for regular sublimation paper like Heat Press Nation's 125 gram paper. Now, even though we're switching out papers and using this printer as a regular sublimation printer, we do not have to switch out any inks. The Versaflex inks have been specially formulated to apply on regular sublimation projects as well. All right, so here in Sawgrass Print Utility, we're gonna go ahead and click Create. Add files, and I believe this is, yes, that's the one that I want. So we're gonna go ahead and import this file. Now this is a very high resolution graphic that I've prepared, so I'm just gonna have to resize it really quick. And I know my imprint area is 8.2 inches wide. So I'm going to punch that in right there. And you can see it automatically adjusted the height to fit. So it sometimes takes a second for the preview to load. One thing I do want to do is change my orientation to landscape. And my product, of course, we're not printing cotton anymore. I'm going to change it to ceramic. And when I do change that to ceramic, you'll see TruePix Classic was set. I'm actually using the HPN 125 gram paper, which is the closest thing is probably going to be either text print DTR heavy or type B. I'm going to choose to print with type B here. A few other print settings I do want to adjust. I'm going to turn this off. I don't think it matters when we're printing for like ceramics and when we're not using the expander cartridge, but I'll go ahead and leave that off just in case. And then under color management, I want to make sure that it's set to photographic because we do have skin tones present here. We don't want to use vivid for our other projects. We may use vivid, but since we have a picture here, we want to keep it true to the original coloring. So we're going to stick with photographic. I'm going to go ahead and click print. As you can see, the colors do look a little bit faint, which is typical for sublimation. Those of us familiar with sublimation know that you don't get that real signature vibrance that sublimation is known for until you actually heat press it. So let's go ahead and prep this transfer on our mug and get it into our mug press. All right, so I have my transfer right here. I'm gonna go ahead and trim it. And I wanna do my very best to have just as much blank space on the side of the transfer here as I do over here. That should be close enough. And then you don't have to trim incredibly close to your graphic since the unprinted parts of your sheet don't actually transfer. But again, what I'm looking for is I want it to be an even distance from here, from the image to the edge of the paper here, as it is from the image to the edge of the paper on top. So I'm gonna trim. Doesn't have to be beautiful, although the more even space we have, the more even the transfer is, the easier it is going to be for our placement. So now we have our coffee mug. And so what I'm going to do is, now this may not show up on camera, but I can see through a little bit. I can see the outline of my graphic. And because I have my template set up correctly, if it's centered on the face here, as I wrap it around and bring it over, the graphic on the other side actually should be centered right to the face there as well. So that's what I'm going to do. And then of course, I'm looking at it right here. I just want to make sure that everything's looking good. I'm going to bring it back around. And actually, I'm going to have to pull this over just a hair. Another thing that you could do is just measure at the edge of the mug, or I'm sorry, that the edge of your transfer is equidistant from the handle. It's another great way to measure that you're centered properly. All right, and so once my transfer is in place here, we're just going to get a little bit of tape. We're going to tape it like so. Then you want to make sure that the image is pulled tight across the surface of the paper. There's no gaps or bubbles or anything like that. Just going to grab another piece of tape, put it right there. And then what I like to do is on this piece of tape, I'll just fold it over itself just a little bit on top. And that gives me like a little tab or handle to pull on when it's time to peel it. And so now we can actually take this and put it into our mug press. We're going to slide it in. You want your mug to be centered here, and you also want the handle to be centered here. So we're looking for centering on two places. As I slowly close the mug press, I'm making slight adjustments on the positioning of my mug. Again, just to make sure that it's nice and centered both this way and this way. Once I'm confident in the placement, I'm going to close that. We do have a slightly firm pressure on the mug. That's totally normal. My mug press, by the way, is set to 385 degrees Fahrenheit, 190 seconds. And again, we got like a medium firm pressure on here. And now we just get to wait. Okay, that's our time. Let's go ahead and open the mug press. All right, now the handle should be safe to touch. We're going to bring it out here. And we're actually just going to set it down for a few minutes. Now, with sublimation transfers, if you ever run into ghosting or blurring of the image, it's very likely that you peel the transfer off too soon. So we're going to let this sit and cool for just a few minutes before we peel it off. All right, so it's been a few minutes. It's still a little bit warm, so I'm gonna be very careful, but now we can peel and reveal. So that little tab that I created is right here. I'm gonna pull that off. Look at that, that is phenomenal. We're gonna finish peeling it right there. That looks incredible. And this is done with the exact same Versaflex ink system that we used for our other projects, our uncoated hard substrates, our 100% cotton t-shirts. And it still looks as beautiful as ever in traditional sublimation applications. As you can see, the versatility of the Sawgrass VersiFlex system is totally unmatched. We were able to do 100% cotton, an uncoated wood substrate, and a traditional sublimation application in our coffee mug. For more information on the Versaflex hybrid decorating system, you can head on over to heatpressnation.com, or if you have any questions, give our team a call at 800-215-0894.